Today I've been asked to talk about how to start the Bedfordshire Wedding Horseshoe pattern, which is started on a flat start on the top of the lace. It started along here, and this is the diagram that we have on the pattern, and I'm going to show you how to get this set up so you've got a nice straight edge and how to work the directions on the start of it. This is actually mounted onto the ribbon, so if it's not too neat you can fold the ribbon over the top and hide it if you should wish to do so. On the original one I made, I actually mounted a little ribbon, a little bow, and then a little spray of flowers on it, and this worked quite nicely. And again, it hides any irregularities if you're not as neat as it could be. So we're going to start on this top pin here. And we start on the left. Now to start a flat edge, so you've got a change of worker edge. This is the pin we're going to be working into. Ideally, to start it, you hang 2 temporary pins on the pillow, just to the side of where you're going to actually work, and hang 2 pairs in open formation, astride, rainbow fashion, on each of the pairs. Then we're going to put 2 twists on one of the pairs on each of the pins, it doesn't matter which one. And then the centre 2 pairs, we're going to cross stitch them together and put 2 twists on. We then put the pin in that first hole. And at this point we can let the temporary pins down, and you have 4 pins hanging from that, 4 pairs hanging from the first pin. But they are actually joined together with a cloth stitch. The right hand one will become the change of worker edge along the top, and the left one will be the change of worker edge on the left hand side going down the horseshoe. Now to get the next ones in, we put a temporary pin in again and hang 2 more pairs on this. Again in open formation. And again we put 2 twists on. We then cross stitch with this one that is the top pin, the top pair from that pin, cross stitch and 2 twists. And we put the next pin in on the line. And again drop the pairs down. And the right hand one is always the one that works with the next 2 pairs. So again, temporary pin, 2 pairs on, open formation, 2 twists, cross stitch and 2 twists on both pairs, and pop the next pin in. And we're going to do this all along this top row. And as you can see, this is giving you a nice straight edge on the top edge. Now I will say that I have actually got a slightly thicker thread than the pattern specifies, so this is going to look a little bit more dense than the original. 2 pairs on the support pin, 2 twists, cross stitch and 2 twists. Drop it off and get the next one. Two twists on the pair being put in, cross stitch and 2 twists. And 2 more to put in, and then we're at the point where we're going to start working across them. Being careful to keep these all in order as well. It's very easy to jumble them up when you first put them on. And the last 2 pairs for the next one. 2 twists, cross stitch and 2 twists. And just tension it up. Now the last pin in the row on that top edge is going to be from the worker coming across. So all we're going to do now is just tension it up a little bit, straighten them up, come back to the left hand side, and you start working. This is the edge pair, and then the next pair becomes the worker to go across. So the second one from the left hand side comes across all of the pairs in cross stitch to form your first row. And it does seem like a lot of pairs when you first get this started, but you soon get there. So you come across all the way except the last one, because that's the change of worker edge pair. We put the 2 twists on, we put the pin up in the top row, and then we do the change of worker edge. At this point you can just tension it up. They do move around a little bit, so it does take a little bit of tensioning, but they'll soon settle down. And then the change of worker edge, cross stitch and 2 twists. Now sometimes you will put the extra twist on the outside edge if you just want that little bit firmer. Just for the demonstration I'm just doing the 2 twists to make it more straightforward. And then the inside one then comes back and goes all the way across again, across to the other side. And you can now see that once we've tensioned this, you've got a nice straight edge to actually mount the lace with at the end. The horseshoe was traditionally given as a gift to brides on the wedding day to bring them good luck. It's just a little traditional piece of lace that you can make. This pattern isn't too difficult, and as long as you've got some experience with making leaves, you can make a lovely job of it. Or you might want to practice the leaves before you actually make it. Again, cross stitch and twist for the edge, having put the pin up, and this one then comes back again. Two twists and put the pin up. As I say, this is a little bit more dense. I just happen to have this thread wound, and it is a shade thicker than the original. So don't worry if yours looks a little bit more sparse than this, because this is a little on the dense side. You can always go a little bit thicker if you wanted the piece of lace to be more substantial, but you have to bear in mind when you're doing the cloth stitch that you don't get too many pairs in. So I'm back across again, and on the next row I shall be starting dividing for the trails. The edge, the cloth stitch and twist, and you're ready to come back. Now if you look at the diagram, we're now going to come through from here, which is the pin I've just put in, through 3 pairs. When you've met this third pair and put the pin in, the one worker will go back to the left and this one will come through 1, 2, 3 pairs and then be thrown back. We then take the next passive, put the pin in and work through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pairs, 6 pairs, and throw it back. This is to get rid of some of the excess pairs of bobbins that we've got here that we don't actually need for the 2 trails. So we'll just do that little bit. So through 3 pairs for the first one, and where it's meeting a passive, I usually put 1 twist on both pairs, because both pairs are going to be around the pin instead of just one worker, and put the pin in. And once we've covered the pin, the left hand bobbin now becomes the worker for the left hand trail, and the right one is the one that's going to go across and then be thrown out. We'll work through 3 pairs, and then we lay this pair back, and we're literally having taken them through, we tension it up, just stroke the bobbins and put those to the back of the work, and they'll be cut off later. We now take the next passive and put 2 twists on and the pin in, and this is the one that works through 6 pairs, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and then we throw this one back too. So again, just tension it up and lay this pair to the back as well. We now have 2 leaves at this next pin, and so to do this we're going to put the pin between the pairs. So you'll have 2 from the left, next 2 pairs of passives on the left of the pin, and the 2 from the right. And once we've put the pin in between those 4 pairs of bobbins, we'll just do a cloth stitch to cover the pin, using each pair as if they were a single, and this pulls them up. Just tension that one I've just pulled out. These 2 now become the 2 leaves. So again, we move those to one side. Now what I should have done is put a pin in under that pair that's actually being thrown out there, because we just want to hold that. So I'm just going to put that in. It's just holding that in place so it doesn't pull up too much, but it's still at the back there. And then the last one is the next passive, 2 twists on, put the pin up, and then this one comes through to form the worker for the right hand side. And then you're away making the leaf tallies and doing windmill crossings in the middle and working down the pattern. I hope that's been a help to get you started on this horseshoe. If you've got any comments, please leave them underneath. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to hear of more videos coming soon, and let me know if there's anything you want to hear. If you click the notifications, you'll get notified as soon as I put another one out there. Thanks for watching.